vlog. So today I'm finally doing something that I always wanted to do, which is film my car tour. I've had my car for I think almost a year now. September will make 2 years. I bought my car as brand new. I literally drove my car off the lot with 11 miles on it, and it was just the most exciting time for me. I have a whole entire testimony about that I will post at the end of this video, or I might post it before, I'm not sure. But I wanted to give you guys a car tour, so we're going to start on the inside. I'm actually going to start it up because it's pretty hot in here. If you hear some talking in the background, or if you see like people in my background, it's probably just my family. Everyone's outside right now. It's a beautiful day. It's Sunday. So yeah, so let me start up my car. Hold on. First, how about you hit that subscribe button if you like what you see so far? So when you first get in my car, this is what you see. You have the steering wheel, the dash and everything else is up here. You have the touch screen that has like your navigation, your Apple CarPlay and all of that stuff. You have your air controls and heat controls. And the gear shift, you have the drive mode, which if you press it, it changes up here. So it can do eco mode, sport mode, or if you turn it off, it's just regular. You have the heated seats, so you have it on both sides, and it's 3 different levels to it. I don't cut them on during this time because it's extremely hot outside. Also, real quick, sorry if things are like dusty. It's really not dust. It's just the fact that I wipe my car down with these Clorox wipes every day after work. I work at a hospital, so when I get off of work and drive my car, I wipe them down with this just to clean off any germs that I may have bought from the hospital to my car. So that's why you see like all these little like what looks like dust, but it's really just like the residue from these wipes. So where did I stop? So you have these buttons, which I don't ever use, but it can take you to your radio, which I don't listen to the radio. You can take it to your media, so you can push radio, which is radio. Media connects it to Bluetooth or your Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay only works if you are plugged up to a cord, so you have to use one of these, which plugs right down here, and then it will connect to your phone, and then you can do the Apple CarPlay. What else? This is just like to change the station, change the music. This takes you to the apps that you have on your car or your phone. So like Pandora, things of that nature. Display just cuts it off, cuts it back on, and setup is just all of your settings. You have the push to start button. One thing for sure, when I got this car, I made sure it was push to start because I had so many issues with my last car, and the key like going into ignition. It's a whole story. I'll tell you guys about that later. Down here, excuse my Dunkin' Donuts, I just have these Hyundai cup holders that I actually bought on Amazon. I think they were so cool, and I actually really like them, so I got that. Let's see what's in here. My keys are over there. In here I have some gum, some lotion, some hand sanitizer from Bath and Body Works. I have an extra hair tie. I have just some regular chapstick, and this little tray I bought from Amazon. I thought it was so cool because it helps you keep your glove compartment organized. So like I can lift this whole thing up, and then I have like the bottom section. Hold on guys, I have to cut on some air because it's like really hot in here. So in the bottom section, I just have an extra phone charger. Most of the time I use this one to charge my AirPods. If I'm like heading to work and I notice my AirPods are dead, I will plug this one in and charge them on the way to work. I have some snacks. I have an extra hair tie. I have some raisins. I have a granola bar. I have some peanut butter crackers. This is supposed to like hold your phone and mount it some kind of way, but I don't use that. I have a box cutter just as a weapon if it needs to be. I have a tire pressure, even though I don't necessarily need this because my car automatically checks my tire pressure and tells me if it's too low. I have an extra charger adapter. I have some extra air fresheners to go inside of my turtle air freshener that I got from Bath and Body Works. So it just goes in there. What else? I have this coin pouch full of coins. I have a extra bag with a pair of gloves and 2 masks because of everything that's going on. This is like a little what's it called? Like, you put an essential oil, there's a little pad in here, and you put essential oil on it, like whatever essential oil you like, and then you put it inside of this flower, and it basically diffuses your whole entire car, and it's just very nice smelling. And then I have these extra black ice air fresheners, because if you know, you know. So I'm gonna put this back in there, and then this just goes on top like that, and you close that. So that's pretty much it for the front. I mean, the only other thing I didn't go over was like the controls on my steering. If someone calls me, I can answer the phone, I can hang up the phone, I can turn up the volume to whatever I'm listening to, I can change the song. This is like kind of like a Siri or a voice to talk or text, whatever you want to call it. If I push this button, I can tell my car like call home, and it'll automatically call my house phone, or I can push it and say call my mom, or call whoever's, like whatever the person's name is in my phone, and that's what it will do. Or sometimes you can tell it to play a certain song. So if I'm like have my phone plugged up to Apple CarPlay and I want to listen to a certain song, then I can pull this button and say play blah 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 by so and so, and they'll play the song automatically, so I don't have to actually push the buttons on the screen, which I think is awesome because it's very safe. You don't have to take your eyes off the road, you don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel. You literally just push this one button and that's it. This, I think, what does this do? As of right now, I can't remember what this does. I don't use this button, so I really don't know what the heck this does, but yeah, it's there. I should probably know, but I don't know right now. This button changes this setting, so you can have it looked at on your radio, you can have it on your tire pressure, but you have to drive in order to show your tire pressure. I'm not moving right now, so it won't show it. You can do driving assist, door settings, light settings, sound settings, just a bunch of different settings that I don't use, and then this takes you back to your speed. You can also, if you move this up, you can have your miles shown, like how many miles you've used each trip, or miles per hour, a timer. What else is there? This shows you how many miles you have left before you run out of gas. So I can drive 149 more miles before I'm on E, and that just takes you back. And then you can also do, I don't know what, I honestly don't, I think this is like cruise control, but I don't use it. This is just like an OK and cancel button when you're selecting your settings within your car. And yeah, and over here you just have like your window controls, of course, your door lock, your window lock. This just moves around, actually, oh, this moves around your mirror. So this is your mirror settings. If you want to adjust your left mirror, you can click on left. If you want to adjust your right mirror, you can click it on right, and you can just move your side mirrors so that you can see better. The small buttons over here, so this adjusts how bright your settings get in your car. So you can't really tell right now because it's light outside, but they can either be like extremely dark or extremely light. I usually keep it on pretty light. This is lane assist, so, or not lane assist, this is blind spot assist. So right now it's on, so if someone was to drive near me, a little orange light would light up in the corner of my mirror, and if I tried to actually get over, like let's say I put my signal on and I tried to actually get over, it will start beeping very loud to let me know that someone is over there and it's not safe to get over. So I actually love that setting. This is nothing, I'm not sure what this is, I don't ever use it, but I think it has something to do with honestly, I don't want to guess. I really don't know what this does. This, of course, is your air features and your vent settings. These are the vent clips that I told you about that have like the air fresheners in the inside of them. And then I'm not going to go over all of these because these are just light settings, and I honestly don't ever use this. I keep it on auto because my lights will cut on and off depending on if it's light outside or if it's dark outside. And then this one is just for the settings of your windshield wipers, and of course so you can clean your windshield off as well. So that's pretty much it for the front of my car. I have these mirrors that just go like this. There's me. And Oh, it does have a light up here, which I thought was different. You can cut the light on. So like usually they have the light on the actual mirror, but mine does not. It's in the ceiling, so you can cut it on if you need it. You can cut it off. I have a sunroof. I guess I could show you guys that. So if you push the cover back and then you push this button right here, the sunroof will open on its own, and you can close it by pushing it just once. And if you push it up, then it will just open a little bit. You push it down, it'll close back. I usually keep this covered if I'm not in the car, just so that my car is not extremely hot. So that's pretty much it for the front seat. The only other thing is I keep some stuff on my side door. I already showed you guys the Clorox wipes. I have this hand sanitizer spray that I spritz in my car after every shift. It's very strong smelling, so I don't use it on my hands. And then I have this one that I use on my hand. For the front, you guys, that is it. So I guess I'll show you the back. There's literally nothing back there, but I'll show you anyway. Let me get out. Back seat. I'm gonna sit here. There's literally nothing back here. No one ever sits back here. I don't really have people in my car, but I just keep another container of disinfectant wipes back here just in case I need to clean up a bigger mess. There is a cup holder right here, which I think is cool. And then, yeah, that's it. I don't have an armrest back here. I have this, which is basically a seat belt for my dog when he gets in here. But that's literally the only person that rides in my back seat. So this is the back of the car. This is the front. This is the trunk of my car. It's literally nothing in here except for my work shoes. I do not take my work shoes in the house since I work in a hospital. I just don't want to attract germs inside, so I keep them in my car. I have an umbrella, a snow scraper, and a car vacuum cleaner that I clearly need to use. And then I have 2 jackets on the inside of here just in case I get stranded or I'm cold or I just need a jacket. And I have a car air freshener right there, and that is it for So now that the first part is recorded, I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys my testimony and how God was able to bless me to buy a brand new car. When I first went into the process, I even started thinking about getting a new car or thinking that I needed a new car. I never thought it was going to be new. I was thinking, okay, I'll buy a newer car, because at the time I was driving a 2005 Toyota Camry. It was a gift, a graduation gift from my parents. Me and my twin brother, we graduated high school in 2013. And on the day of graduation, our parents surprised us with a car. At the time, we had not even started driving school. We hadn't had any lessons. We didn't know how to drive. We were kind of late with that because most people, they start driving in high school, but our parents, we didn't do it. Our parents kind of waited and held out on us. So we didn't even know how to drive yet. We didn't have permits. We didn't have a license. We didn't have anything. But our parents surprised us with a car for graduation. And that's what we practiced driving in. That's what we learned how to drive in. So we had shared the car for a long time. And then my brother went and bought his own car. So the 2005 Camry became my car. And it was all mine. It was fine. Like, it was just the car that I had. It was gifted to me. I'm very thankful for that car. I love that car. I don't regret anything about it. Honestly, I wish I could have kept it and just had 2 cars, but it doesn't really make sense to have 2 cars. I mean, that car was paid off, was paid for. My parents paid it off, but I still would have had to pay insurance on it. So it didn't make sense to have 2 cars. At the time that I got rid of it, it did have a few problems of its own. They weren't extremely expensive to fix, but I didn't feel comfortable paying that amount of money when I might as well just go ahead and get something new. So The only two problems that I had at the time, one thing, which I think is just like some sort of alignment to align your car properly, that was going to be about $1,500. And the other issue I was having was with my ignition. If I was to put my key in the ignition, it would start up, but when it came time to cut the car off, the key would get stuck. So I can cut the car off, but I couldn't take the key out the ignition. And I would literally just be sitting at my destination. Like, let's say I went to work. I'd be sitting outside my job, struggling, trying to get this key out of the ignition. And sometimes it would take me 10 minutes. Sometimes it would take me 20 minutes. It just would not come out. It's like you had to maneuver it a certain kind of way. And one, that was a huge like safety risk for me because I'm a female. I drive late at night to go to work, and it's nothing like being stuck in a parking lot trying to get your key out of your car and you can't, and there's nothing you can do. It's not like I can just leave the car there. It's not like I can just leave the key in the ignition. Like, I have to take it out to be able to lock my doors. And not only that, it just wouldn't make sense to leave it in the ignition. Like, why would I do that? So that was very annoying and very frustrating. It didn't happen all the time I drove the car, but it happened a lot of times that I drove the car. So those were the only two issues I really knew of at the time with my car. Other than that, the car drove perfectly fine. But those two issues were enough to make me feel like I needed to just go ahead and get a new car. So during the process, I started off just looking at used cars. I knew that I wanted something newer than a 2005. So I started looking at like 2012s, 2013s, cars that were made in that year. I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to get a new car, like brand new. So I was like, I have to get a used car. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of the used cars that I looked at were more expensive than my brand new car that I ended up with. That's the crazy part. Like, I will never forget that. Like, the 2012, 2013 cars I looked at cost more, like $20,000. Whereas my car that I ended up getting, my brand new car that I ended up getting, only cost me $17,000. So it just shows you how God really works, because at the time I just couldn't imagine myself driving a new car because I was nowhere financially, like, I wasn't in, like, I didn't have the money to do it. Like, my credit was good, but I didn't have cash money like that to just go and pay. I couldn't just say, oh, well, I got 20,000 in the bank right now. Let me take it out and pay for this car. Like, no, there was no way I could do that. I think at the time I only had maybe $600 saved, maybe. Like, I didn't have anything in my savings. All I had was maybe $600, and then whatever I got paid every 2 weeks. That was it. So I really knew that I couldn't get a brand new car. I knew that I had to really limit myself as far as what I can pick from. And a lot of the cars I looked at weren't even the make or model of the car that I ended up with. Like, I was looking at Chargers, like Dodge Chargers. I knew that I wanted a Charger. That's been my favorite car. I was like, I'm getting me a Charger. I'm gonna get a Dodge Charger. I love that car, blah, blah, blah. I was looking at those. I was looking at Mazdas. One car I thought that I was really going to end up with was a Mazda CX-5, which is an SUV. I love that car. Just like a bunch of different cars I looked at and played around with the idea of driving. And when I think about it, it's just mind-blowing to me, because today I would not pick any of those cars over the car that I ended up with. So another reason, or another way that God was a blessing to me in the situation, was that at this time period, my twin brother, my own blood, he was working at a car dealership near our house. He doesn't work there anymore, but he was at the time. And he was actually my salesman. Now, you're probably like, what? Your brother sold you your car? Yes, my twin brother, my own blood, was the salesman for my car. That day, all I knew was that we were going to go look at cars. I knew we were going to go look at cars and possibly test drive cars. I never thought I would be leaving that day with a car. Like, no way. Let me rewind a little bit. Before that day came, I had reached out to my credit union and I applied for a loan. I knew my price range. Like, I knew how much money I was looking to spend, or should I say how much of a loan I was looking to take out, but I didn't know the exact price of the car. So I knew how much to ask for, request for through my credit union. And I remember that night, like during the week that I applied for the loan, that night I prayed to God. I said, God, if it is your will, if it is meant for me, if this is what you want me to do, if this is the right timing to get a new car, please show me a sign. I said, if this loan gets approved, I'll take that as a yes. I'll take that as the sign that I can go ahead and get this car, that I can go ahead and purchase the car, that now's the perfect timing. I was like, if this loan is not approved, then I'll pump my brakes for a bit. I'll slow down, I'll stop and put this process on hold, because you're telling me that now is not the time to go ahead and get a new car. Those are the two things I said to God that night in my prayer. So the next morning I woke up and I'm looking for the sign. I'm waiting for him to show me the sign I asked for. I'm waiting for the call from my credit union. I'm waiting for an email, something to tell me that I was approved for my loan. I didn't get any sign, any answer from my bank that day. So I started to feel a little down. I was like, okay, something must be wrong. They haven't gotten back to me. Maybe they didn't approve me. Maybe my credit's not good enough. All these things filled my mind, negative thoughts. And also during that day, I was watching a Bible sermon by T.D. Jakes. Most of you are probably familiar with him. I don't remember exactly what he was talking about, but I remember in his sermon, he just kept saying, now is not the time. He just kept saying it over and over again. I don't remember the exact topic of the sermon, but he kept focusing on waiting on God's word, not rushing, and that now was not the time. So I thought, personally, I took that as, this is God telling me that now is not the time to buy the car. I didn't get a call from my credit union, one. And two, I'm sitting here watching this sermon and he's saying it. He's talking to me. He's telling me now is not the time. So I took that for what it was. I said, okay, God, I hear you. Now's not the time. I should not be looking at cars. I need to drive my car, my 2005 Camry, for a little bit longer. I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on your word. That's how I took it. That was probably a Friday or a Thursday, somewhere towards the end of the week when all this happened. By Friday, so the day before the weekend, my bank ended up calling me. They ended up calling me, and I got an email that I was approved for the loan that I took out for my car. And at that moment, it still is unbelievable. I just was so shocked, because I'm like, what? God, I thought God told me the day before that now was not the time. I thought he was telling me no. But really what he was doing is he was testing my patience. He was testing my faith. He was testing to see if I was going to believe in him and wait for him to give me an answer. And that's something I've always struggled with. I've always struggled with being patient, and I always rush to do things. So I think God was really just testing me in that moment to see how long was I going to wait for him to give me my answer. I think he was testing me to see how I was going to react. I think he was testing me to see if I was going to be faithful and take what I thought was a no and just be okay with that, or was I going to take the no, be mad, be spiteful, be angry at him, which you should not do. And I didn't do it, but I think he wanted to see how I was going to react in that moment. And because I took it and I listened to him and I said, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient to you. I'm going to be obedient to your word. I hear what you're saying. I'm going to wait. I think that's how he really used me in that moment and rewarded me. You thought I was telling you to wait, but no, I just want to see what you were going to do. And now I'm letting you know that you can go get this car. I'm giving you the financial ability to go get this car. Your bank just approved you for this loan. Go and get it, my child, is what he was telling me. So that happened on a Friday. I got the word that I was approved for the loan and that they were going to lend me this money to buy the car. At that time, I still didn't 100% understand how a car loan worked. I had taken out loans before, but never for a car, and never something of that, never in an amount as that much. So I didn't really understand how car loans worked. So I still was a little questionable, but whatever. So that Saturday, me and my mom, my dad, we went to my brother's job. It was the Hyundai dealership near our house. And we went there, and I still had in my mind, although the bank approved me for this amount of money, I still had in my mind that I wasn't going to get a car that day. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I just had in my mind that I was going to test drive the car. I was going to, see if I liked it. I was going to just look at different cars of that make and model and just really see what was out there. I still never thought in a million years that I would walk away that day with a car.
Brand new baby! Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. My brand new car. We went there, we met up with my brother. He was working that day, and he had, oh, I missed the part. He had asked me the night before, like a few nights before, like while all this was in the works, what car that I like the most at the Hyundai dealership. And I had told him, like, yeah, I really like the 2018 Hyundai Elantra. I like it in this color. I like it in this make. I like it with this color interior. Like, I had all the, like, everything I like. I said, I want these specific features in the car, so that he knew what to look for when trying to pick a car for me to test drive. So when we got there that day, he had ordered my exact car from, they didn't have it at his dealership, so he ordered it from like a dealership that was a few hours away, and they had it shipped to the dealership where he worked. So that's another way that I feel like God really blessed me, because although they didn't have the exact car I wanted on the lot with the exact features, I still was able to get it. I still was able to get the exact, there's nothing that I settled for with my car. My car literally has everything that I wanted. I didn't have to like give up anything. I didn't have to settle anywhere. I didn't have to negotiate anything. Like, everything just worked out so perfectly when it was time for me to get my car, like everything. For example, like I said, I wanted the white car, and it's not just the regular white. I don't know if you guys can see it in the video. It's like a sparkly type white. It's really pretty. I knew that I wanted a sunroof, so I got my sunroof. I knew I wanted heated seats. I got my heated seats. I knew that I wanted like that light beige interior. I got the light beige interior. I knew that I wanted push to start. I got push to start. What else? I knew that I needed, not really needed, but I feel comfortable more if it had what's the thing called? Not lane assist, but blind spot detector. I got blind spot detector. Just everything. The cup holders, everything is perfect in that car, and it's everything that I wanted. And it's just amazing what happens when you really just sit down and wait on God. You ask him. You can have all these plans made up in your head, but at the end of the day, it's really just what God has planned for you that's going to take place and that's going to happen. The cars that I looked at before even looking at this one, I always had to settle on something. Like, they might have had the sunroof, but they didn't have the heated seats. Or they might have had the heated seats, but they didn't have the blind spot detector. Or they might have had the cream interior, but they didn't have, I don't know, the backup camera. It was always something that was missing. There was never a perfect car that had everything I wanted when I was looking at the used cars. And then here comes this brand new 2018 car that I not once even looked at during my car search, and it has everything. It's perfect. So that was another way that God really blessed me in the entire situation, is giving me the car that I wanted, that had everything in it. My old car, my 2005 car, literally was no technology in it, which was fine at the time, because I don't need all of that. When you first start off and you get your first car, you don't need all those bells and whistles. You just need the car to drive. So I was perfectly cool with it. But over time, it was like, as they make newer cars, you see all these things that these cars have and all these different technologies, and you're like, wow, that's like pretty neat. Like, that's pretty convenient. I wish I could have that. And I would always look at these other cars like, wow, I wish my car did that. Or, oh, wow, I wish my car. Now my car does all of the above. So it's just really amazing. It's been going fine with my car. Like, I haven't had any issues with it. It drives perfectly fine. It's great on gas. I literally can fill my car up with $20, sometimes $22. Like, it never more than $20, put it that way. I only fill my car up every 2 weeks. It's just amazing. It's really amazing. And I love my car. I truly do. I know it's a material thing, so it's like, wow, do you love a material thing? Truthfully, I just love it. Every time I see my car, I think of the blessing that God has truly given me. And it's just great, you know. So I hope this inspires somebody. I hope this reaches someone to let you know that whatever it is that you're asking God for in this moment, or whatever it is that you're wanting God to bless you with in this moment, please just wait on him and be patient. It's going to come. And I guarantee you that what you think you want, God is going to give you something even better, even greater. You may think that you want something, and what he gives you is going to be 10 times better than that something that you had your eye on. Please believe me when I say this. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And it may not even be a materialistic thing. It could be a job. It could be materialistic. It could be a house. It could be anything. like anything, whatever it is in your mind right now that you have been working so hard for, and you've been praying for, and you've been waiting for, and you've just been thinking about, please just wait on him. He's going to give it to you, and it's going to be more than what you could ever imagine. And one thing I forgot to mention is when I was saying that I wasn't 100% sure how car loans work. Basically, I learned that you request a loan from your bank. So, for example, my car was somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000. Like, I can't remember the exact amount, but it was like $6,300 and something dollars. So let's just say 17,000. I'm sorry. So I requested from my bank $17,000. They approved me for it. And when I went to the car dealership, I didn't put down any money. I didn't do a trade-in. I tried to do a trade-in. I tried to trade in my 2005 Camry, and they literally told me, okay, we'll give you $250. Excuse me? No, I'll take it home. Don't worry about it. So I turned that down because $250, like what? No. So I didn't do a trade-in. I didn't do a down payment. I literally paid absolutely nothing the day that I got my car. And that alone is just another blessing, because like I said, when I went to, at that very moment in my bank account, I probably had less than $600. I don't even think I had $600. I might have had a cool $450. I don't know, but I know it wasn't a lot of money. I know I didn't have a lot saved up. And I literally had what I got paid every 2 weeks. So basically living paycheck to paycheck. So I got the loan from my bank, and once we signed all the paperwork at the car dealership, all of that was then sent to my bank, my credit union. They went through it all. And then, they basically wrote a check to the car dealership and Federal Expressed it to them. They mailed it to them. And that's what paid for my car. So it was basically my credit union working with the car dealership, and they were able to write them a check for it. And then the way my payment is set up is I pay back that loan every 2 weeks. So every time I get paid bi-weekly. Every time I get paid, $147 comes out of my paycheck and goes directly to my credit union. And over time, that's just going to pay off my car. So, like I said, I started out at somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000. Right now, I'm at $12,000, and I started in 2018, and it's now 2020. So, I don't do anything. Like, I don't transfer any money. It just automatically comes out every time I get paid. It automatically comes out the same day. So that was something that my credit union was able to do with me. I don't know if all banks or all credit unions do it that way, especially with them doing it bi-weekly. I think most places you have to pay once a month, so monthly, but I pay mine every 2 weeks, which I'm not mad at. Like, I'm actually pretty happy it's set up that way, because to me it's kind of like I'm paying it off quicker. Not to mention $147 every 2 weeks is really not that bad. Most people's card note costs them anywhere between $300 to $400 a month. So I'm cool with my $147 every 2 weeks. Like, that's perfect for me. It's manageable. I can do it. I don't have an issue with it. So that's kind of how it goes. And then once I'm completely paid off, I'll just be done with it. I don't have to pay anything else. To my old car, no, I do not. I no longer have that car. Although the dealership was only willing to give me $250 for trade-in, I said no. I took my car home, and I actually went to this company called We Buy Any Car. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, We Buy Any Car. I'll write it down here. I'll have it in the description box. I contacted them. I reached out to them, and basically what happens is they, you take your car to them. They test drive it to make sure there's no issues with it, or if there is an issue with it, they just deduct it from how much they're planning to give you. And they ended up giving me $990 for my car. So they give it to you in cash. So I just took the $990. They took my car, and I used that $990 to pay off a debt that I actually had with another company. So that's another way that God just worked everything out, because although I wasn't able to trade it in, I was able to sell it, and I was able to use the money from that car, from that sale, to pay off another debt, which is just helping me financially even more. So there's just, I don't know if y'all paying attention, but as you can see, there's just a lot of ways that God worked in my favor in this whole entire situation. Even to this day, he's still working in my favor. And for that, I will always be thankful and I will always love him. So if you don't know God, please, I strongly, if you don't listen to anything else that I say in this video, listen to this part. I strongly encourage you to get a relationship with God. That will be the only relationship you will ever need. I promise you that. Bye, guys.